What is up, DG Army? What else known as John with more strategy series for you this week. World of Tanks here, and this week I'm doing the M7, which is a American medium tank. It's real pretty old tank. It's been out since release or beta or whatever you want to say. Well, since they brought out the American line a long time ago in beta. It's on the way to the new turreted, or I'm sorry, auto-loading American tanks, which I can't wait to drive. As you can see here, M7 goes all the way up. So I've been working on it off and on for a while and finally got some good games with it. It's a really difficult tank to play because it doesn't really, it has no armor. It's kind of a scout. So you know how I think about what I think about scouts. And it doesn't have any awesome guns like the big derp that the M4 Sherman gets, which I actually used to think that was a crap gun, and now I kind of think it's pretty good just because of the way that it's pretty easy to get side shots on people. So the way you're going to play this tank is you're basically going to scout with it. I know a lot of people don't like to scout. The nice thing is, as far as I can tell, it does not get scout matchmaking, so you should only face up to tier 7 or 5 and down. It gets decent matchmaking. I never really had any big problems with it. But it's very fast. You can play kind of like a scout, get to a 4 position, and kind of hide, and then take flank shots when you get a chance, and try to get a lot of your XP and credits off of lighting people up and letting your team shoot them. That's kind of how you're going to play it. I'm going to show you that pretty much in one of the games that's coming up. In the other game, all I get to show you is how fast it is because I'm not really doing any heavy scouting or anything. But like I said, it was hard to get good enough games to really show you how to play this tank because remember that when you scout, you have a high... it's just basically risk. It's a very, very increased risk when you go scouting. You're all the way forward. You don't know where the enemy are. You can't return fire. You have no armor to bounce shells. You basically kind of have to get lucky and not get shot. So that's how you're going to play this tank. Now let's look at some of the stats here. I'm not even going to go over hit points. Almost all hit points in this range are going to be the same for every tier. They're just kind of pointless. I will tell you when they're different, I think, significantly different from the norm. So we got 460 engine horsepower, pushing 23 tons. Pretty decent. That's a 21-to-1 power to weight ratio, and that's why it's so the acceleration on this thing is so good, and the turning is so awesome with it. Speed limit 60. You're definitely going to get up to in the high 50s. 48 traverse on the tracks, combined with 46 turret traverse. This thing can circle anything. It's got 94 total traverse. It's pretty nice. Armor, pretty much none. Even the turret armor at 51 is pretty much none. Don't get hit is basically how you play this tank, which is, again, it's all about risk and just getting lucky and not getting shot. Serpentine is good. Stay moving. Don't slow down. A slow or stopped tank scout is a dead scout. It's pretty much how it works. Just got to keep moving. I mean, if you're behind cover, that's fine. If you get to, a rock or something you can hide behind really well, stay there. But I'm saying if you're out in the open, do not slow down or stop. Do not slow down or take a shot. Just keep driving. Let's see, 380 view range, really nice, especially for a tier 5. Again, this kind of makes me think, hey, that's a scout with 380 view range at tier 5. So 745 meter radio, which is also great for scouting. You're definitely going to want to have that. 480 is okay, but 745 is what you're going to want to have to relay that information back to your team. So when they damage those guys, you can get the credits and XP for that. For spotting while they're getting damaged. So let's go look at the modules here. You already saw, you've already seen anyway, that you will not have that radio. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but you won't have this radio. You're gonna have to grind it out unless you have some other lines like the heavy line and stuff. You won't have this, so you're probably gonna have to grind it out. It's a pretty big grind, but it's definitely worth it. You start out with that 400 meter radio, which is it's okay, but since you're a scout, you really want a big radio, so you can again relay the information back. So we got tracks here. They don't provide a lot of benefit, especially since you don't need the upgraded tracks to load the gun or the turret or anything like that, or the engine. You upgrade the whole entire rest of the tank without getting the tracks. So I probably wouldn't get them right away. I'd probably, well, we'll deal with that when we get to research, but tracks, no big deal, no surprise there. Engine, I don't think you're going to have this engine. No, it doesn't look like you're going to. I haven't played this tank in a while, so I don't know all the stats for this thing. Let's look at that first. Well, obviously you're going to have the first engine, but you won't have this one either. Because this thing comes up from the M5, so... you're going to want to get the engine. That's probably going to be the first thing you unlock, because that's a huge difference. From 350 to 460 is gigantic, especially on a scout. The main thing you're concerned with is engine on scout. So, Looking at the turret, not a big difference. Just actually it goes down a little bit with traverse there. But the view range goes up, so that's nice also for a scout, so definitely get that. The gun, you're going to start with this really bad 37mm gun, 56 pen, 40 damage. Not very great, and the rounds per minute actually don't really change when you get the top gun. You just get double the penetration and a little bit more damage. It's much better, almost double the damage actually. It does have, actually it does not have a derp. Like I was saying, it doesn't have a derp gun. So you won't have any of these guns from the M5. You can have it, if you went up the M3 Lee line, you might have some of these guns and stuff, or the Sherman, but you definitely will not have them if you didn't go up those lines. And you definitely won't have the top gun. So you're definitely going to unlock that top gun once you get into a flanking position. At least, I think it's this gun comes first and then this top gun. But the reason I have the top gun loaded is because it's got a lot more shots per minute, which I think is better DPS than this very much slower gun here. So that's what I do, is load this top gun pretty quick. So now that we've talked about the modules and stuff, let's talk about research. So here's the M7's tech tree, and you're not going to have anything really right off the bat. You should not have anything from the M5, which is kind of makes it a little bit rough for this tank. The first thing I would do probably though is go for the engines. 900 for this, 1500 for that second one. Get that speed up, and so you can get your mobility up and do a lot better scouting. After that, man, I probably wouldn't go for this. Well, I probably would go for the radio, I guess, because that's really what you need to do better at scouting. This last radio is 9,000, so hopefully you have it unlocked on some other tank. I did, so I just threw it right on, but that's a pretty rough grind, 9,000 XP at this tier. But that's probably what I'd go after first, is getting that huge radio. It doesn't matter as much that you're shooting people. The main thing is that you're scouting them and you're keeping them lit so that when Artie hits them or somebody else hits them, you get XP and credits for that. So I'd probably get the radio next. After that, shoot straight up to the top gun. That should unlock all the extra stuff for you. The turret and the gun, so you can actually shoot people in flank and stuff. Last, I'd pick up the tracks, fill everything else out, and that's pretty much the tech tree. Just work on that T21, and you're done. So we're back from research, and if you wanted to get equipment on this, which I don't until tier 7 and above, and a lot of that's because I have so many tanks, I just can't afford it. You're going to obviously want to get the improved vent that improves turn speed, top speed, all sorts of different attributes of your tank. You definitely want to get that on all tanks if you can. And I might go with the rammer, although I would probably go with, well, I would get the rammer. No, you might even want a camo net. You're definitely going to want coated optics. Coated optics will allow you to get 10% more view range even when you're on the move. If you just want to have it while you're standing still, which I don't suggest as a scout, you can get the binocs, so it'll give you 25% more. People might say, hey, that's going to get you up above the maximum view range. Yeah, but here's the thing. It's going to reduce, it's going to allow you to see guys that are in cover better. It's going to reduce their bonus they have on you for being in cover. So you definitely want, it's fine to go over the max. The main thing you're concerned with is getting as much as you can. So I'd get coated optics, I'd get camo net probably, and I would get, well, camo net isn't really necessary because you're moving around so much. Vent, coated optics, I guess the rammer, or the toolbox if you have one lying around, because you're probably going to get tracked and you want to repair those tracks as fast as you can. So that's probably what I get. Or, another option if you want is to get these springs that should increase your track durability so you won't get tracked as easily. But I don't know. I wouldn't get that personally, but some people might like that, so that's also another option. So that's equipment. Standard rounds here, there is no HE. And for tier 5 and 6, I get small repair kit. And tier 7 and above, I get a full rack of consumables here. And this is what your crew should look like. Probably by the time I unlock the T21, these guys will be sitting at about 85%, I would imagine. And you should see a pretty noticeable difference between 50% and 85%. Should be very noticeable. So that's pretty much this tank. Let's get into a couple games and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So the first game I'm going to show you here is on Sand River Encounter. And this is the one where I'm not really going to be doing much scouting. I'm a tier 5 in a tier 5 game. But also because I'm really just showing off the speed in this game. And then some strategy on this map. So what I'm doing here is pretty much taking the route I do a lot, where I'm going up behind the sand dunes in the back. Even I do this even on the regular mode of this game. But when you're going, 60 or something kilometers per hour, you can get there pretty fast. So this tank is super awesome for this, especially if you can get in position like I'm about to do real quick like this. You can really take the enemy by surprise, as you're going to see in this match. So it looks like we already got the T50 in the base. That's good. Taking a really direct path right to the base. Which in an encounter on this map, especially at lower tiers, it's definitely an awesome strategy. Now, the one thing is, though, for the win, you won't get much XP or credits. I mean, if you're in the actual cap zone, you will. You'll get an okay amount, but a fast game usually amounts in hardly any XP or credits. Which doesn't really matter that much because you still get the win, so who cares? So that PZ-34 could probably tear that T50 up no problem. And the T50 is going to have a hard time. Well, he'll probably pen him, but he'll probably have a hard time killing him. It's got more hit points by 100 almost. And it's just a better all-around tank, that 3-4. It's not better for scouting, but it's definitely better in a brawl at this at Tier 5. That's actually a really good Tier 5 tank. It's actually, I consider it better than the PZ-4. The only thing the PZ-4 has is that stupid derp gun, which, yeah, we won't go there. But anyway, so he's dead. Now we're sitting in the cap. Half of our team pretty much is in the cap. PZ-4 decides to come down, and no, he's not over here yet. So 6-0, 7-0. They haven't even killed anybody. We're kind of raffle stomping them a little bit. But that's kind of, these lower tier games are like this. They're just not as balanced. It's not just the team that you get, which, I mean, that's a lot of it. But the lower tier, it's really easy just to get killed fast. And people are so fast, the game gets into the later parts of the game a lot faster because people can get into position a lot quicker. So we're just going to wait it out in the cap. I mean, if they can't push on the cap, then we got this anyway. And they're down 6 tanks, so it doesn't really matter. We have a bunch. I thought we only had 4 tanks. So lower plate right there with 100 pen. It's pretty easy to do. Also in the upper plate right there. And I wanted to show you what the pen is on this thing. 105. At Tier 5, 105 pen will go through most tanks if you shoot them kind of in a weak spot. If you just shoot randomly, then you're going to have just as, I don't know, you're not going to have much luck. I wouldn't do that. As much as possible, you should be zooming in trying to get shots off of people. Very, very rarely will I not zoom in and get a sniper shot. A long time ago, like probably back in 7.0 or even earlier, used to have the game used to compensate if you were not zoomed in, and so you could actually hit guys when you weren't zoomed in, which is kind of cool because, I mean, it wouldn't happen every time. You still had a good chance to miss, but at least you could be circling somebody and not have to zoom in on them all the time. You wouldn't shoot over them, you'd shoot right on them almost every time. It was nice. If you're pretty far away and you're both stationary, you could probably hit the guy. So anyway, let's get another game. Hold on a sec. Alright, so in this game, I do a lot better job at scouting. This is a Tier 6 battle, so it's not going to be as easy for me to jack these guys up. This is on Mountain Pass and Standard here, and I think I get going pretty soon. In this tank, especially for scouting, you generally want to take off pretty quick. I just wanted to make sure that, well, actually, I think I just took off. I didn't really make sure that it was covered on both sides, but whatever. So on this map, especially if you get out there like a rocket, you can dip down into this valley like you're about to see me do. Get over to the other side. Well, I'm not gonna blow it. I'm not gonna tell you what happens before it happens. KV-1S stops here to try to get some shots on people. Not a bad strategy at all. Now I'm gonna dip down in here, and instead of turning right and going over there and shooting from under the bridge, I'm gonna drive directly over to their hill right here and start scouting. This is going to allow that KV-1S to get some shots on people, hopefully. He's still sitting there. There's a T1 Heavy sitting there as well. KV-1 looks like they're coming up too. And the SU-26, nice. AMX-40 as well. So there we go. There's Artie. I will definitely sit and take a shot at this guy. Especially an SU-26. That thing's a beast at this level, at this tier. Tries to get a shot on me, misses, and boom, you're dead. He's out of the game. So If that wasn't an arty, I probably would have not shot at him. I don't think I'd take many shots right here. I'm just trying to light people up. You can see, if you look at the mini-map, my field of view is pretty far. Yep, there we go. Electo, that'll probably be coming out next week for Strategy Series. That's the Tier 4 British TD. Hellcat, Tier 6 American. So I'm kind of just waiting for these guys to come up. Nobody's over here. Like, 2 guys, I mean, if all 5 of those guys came over here, we could stomp people. It's weird. I can't believe they're not coming over here. Usually when you come up like this and you don't see anybody, people will cross. And they'll come over and start doing stuff. Okay, the KV-1S seems like he's moving out now. I'm like, hey guys, come on, come up here. What are you waiting for? I've already scouted this whole thing. Plus, I'm trying to help flank on the 1-2 line right there and shoot those guys in the back and allow our push to push through right there. So I'm just kind of waiting for him to get here. KV-1S and a 3001P. Get a big hit in the face by the Hellcat. Got to be really careful when you're doing this scouting. Remember, this thing has no armor. And right here, I'm not moving. So I'm just a big sitting duck. Okay, so now the KV-1S is coming out. He's taking the shots. Now I can move out. I'm going to try to flank this Hellcat. So is the KV-1S, apparently. Still have to be careful. He could probably one-shot me right now. One more shot and I'd be dead. Get a side shot on him, and he's dead. Okay, now we can flank and help these guys out. Looks like there's about 4 or 5 tanks down there. We got about 6, but... Oh, there we go. That's evening out a little more. Oh, it's 6-0. No resistance so far. Did I get hit right there? That was weird. Oh, the guy behind me got hit by the SU-100. So, coming up on this Wolverine, it looks like they just took out all those tanks I was worried about. Wasn't really looking at the mini-map when I was trying to drive, so... Getting some hits on him. He knows his days are numbered. 500 tanks descending upon him, mostly from the front, also one shooting him in the back. So these guys are done. 10-0, nobody on our team's dead yet. This is not a typical game in these. I just wanted to show you this one because of the different scouting that I did. But this is definitely not a typical game. 10-0. The Electo's pretty messed up. SU-100 fairly messed up. The Electo's dead. Let's see what we can do with this. So when you come up on a tank like this, there's 2 of you. One guy go on the other side, like this. Okay, this is called a pincer move. He can only target 1 of you at a time. He can only keep his best armor toward 1 of you. So he sees I'm way on the other side. There's no way. Now we're gonna both have side shots on him. Yep, might as well go after the P. He's almost dead, and he's a higher ranked target. Bouncing off the, ricocheting off the armor right there. And boom, ram kill, baby. 13-0. No one on our team has died yet. This is pretty hilarious. All they have left is a T14, I believe, and the AT2. Oh no, M3 Lee? That doesn't look like an M3 Lee. That's odd. Oh no, that's us. So yeah, 13-0. Now they got 1 tank left. I don't know what happened to the other guy. Must have drove off a cliff. So just kind of waiting it out right here. We're just sitting here capping. There's not a lot else going on. So anyway, let me know what you think about this tank. I personally do not like this tank. I don't like scout tanks. I don't like that kind of risk. It's not fun for me. So anyway, but let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next time.